Hey guys, Shadow Reviewer here. Well, this is it. I'm gonna be ranking the third season of Family Guy and ranking the episodes from worst to best. So, you know the usual caveat. This is just my opinion, and I'm not working off a script. So, again, this list is just my opinion. If you have a different one, let me know down in the comments below. So, without any further ado, let's get into the ranking. And what I consider the worst episode of season 3 goes to number 22, episode 15, Ready, Willing, and Disabled. Yeah, this episode's pretty terrible. I get the whole idea of this episode, but the execution is just awful. Like, really bad. So, Peter is trying to help Joe win this competition, but he illegally gives him steroids. And of course Joe doesn't know this. Why Peter doesn't just tell him that. Joe, for some reason, doesn't give credit to Peter where it deserves it. What the heck? That's not like Joe. That's totally out of character. So, Peter does what Peter does. He sabotages him. And yeah, isn't that what just friends do? Now, you could sympathize with Peter a little bit because Joe left him out for some asinine reason, but you're the one who started all this, so there's little to sympathize with. So yeah, this episode is freaking terrible. Considered the worst of the season so far. Number 21, episode 3, Mr. Griffin Goes to Washington. Yeah, this is another mediocre episode. And also, it's just boring. So, Peter's job gets taken over by another company, and they not so subtly want to give unhealthy smoking to younger children. Yeah, they're about as cartoonish as possible, and it doesn't work for me. Even when Peter just becomes douchey and corrupted by power. Although the Stewie bits get a little funny at times. But the whole message about smoking is evil is just so damn predictable. They do nothing with the idea, and it's just boring. Absolutely boring. Although Peter does the right thing in the end, it still doesn't make up for the fact that this episode's boring. Now, the reason I ranked it higher than episode 15, Stewie gets a few laughs. That's it. Number 20, episode 8, The Kiss Scene Around the World. Oh boy, there's so much wrong you could do with this episode. Mort's son, Neil, has got to be the creepiest character seen in the series so far. And this is the same season that has Herbert around. Yeah, you know, the old guy. Who I've never quite mentioned in any of my reviews of the season so far, so my apologies to that. But yeah, Neil pretty much takes the competition of being the biggest creep around. And honestly, I do not blame Meg for this. He's an absolute creep, stalks her at every turn, and gets the job around the same time Meg does. Yes, convenient, isn't it? Or has he been stalking her? Well, Meg's crush on Tom Tucker is kind of adorable. Typically. Neil pretty much humiliates Meg on live TV. And yeah, that's without consent, my guy. And honestly, you deserve it when Meg gets back at you. Again, there is a pretty funny joke with Mort in there as he takes one side of a photo of his son. He's like, oh god, no. And yeah, unfortunately I can't say what Neil does next, but yeah, it's stupid. And Meg immediately goes back on this and and says, want to save him. Why? It makes no sense. If I was her, I want to get rid of him in a heartbeat. This is not character-based. Again, the reason why it ranks as high, the running guy with the big fat phony guy. Honestly, that guy cracked me up every time he's on screen in this episode. He's the only thing that saves it from being the worst. But still, he was just bad. He outright annoys me. And honestly, Meg, good job standing up for yourself. The guy's a creep. Enough said. Number 19, episode 5. And the beep is... Yeah, this episode's just asinine. This episode's asinine. And while it's fine on the surface, it's pretty much back to the Peter shames Chris for the stupidest of reasons crap again. Because you know what happened in the last season? God. And yeah, he picks on Chris for having the biggest manhood. Shouldn't you be proud of your son for that? And yeah, I still don't buy the whole making up montage. No, I'm still not buying that. Stupid. And it doesn't get better for Meg. Oh, poor Meg. She always seems to be the butt end of the joke all the time. I mean, it's getting pretty old, guys. Hell, it wasn't even that funny to begin with. I mean, Meg just wants to join in something, and she gets bullied for it by Connie. And honestly, Lois wanting to get revenge on Meg's bullies does get a few laughs. But what happens in the end is left best unsaid again. But yeah, the episode is pretty bad. But again, Lois is the best part of the episode. And that's enough for me. Number 18, episode 22, When You Wish Upon a Weinstein. Yeah, I can see why this episode got banned. Its depiction of Jews. And it's not the greatest interpretation. I mean, I get what Peter was going for. But it pretty much stereotypes Jews as being smart, good with money, and lawyers. No, that's not how we operate, guys. Come on. Oh yeah, and that controversial song which parodies Pinocchio's When You Wish Upon a Star. Hence the title of this episode. No, I'm sorry, it makes me cringe. It makes me cringe. So yeah, the episode's meh. Again, I can see why it got banned, and I can see why it got banned from airing again, but I wish it stayed banned. Number 17, episode 2, Brian Does Hollywood. The episode's it's alright. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is an interesting way to continue on the Brian needs to get better story, but it's just, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still good, but it's just there. It's just the usual guy wants to go to a big city and start over, but it's harder than it looks. But I will give them this. Brian's cousin Jasper is one of the few decent characters. And yeah, he's a pretty good cousin. I'll give him that. But what stops her from ranking higher is the subplot with Stewie. Less said about that what's his name, the better. So yeah, it's a okay episode. I mean, the stuff with Brian is still good, but the Stewie subplot stuff... Number 16, episode 19, Stuck Together, Torn Apart. was okay. I thought it was okay. The one good thing I generally do... Actually, no. Two good things I generally liked. Jennifer Love Hewitt's guest star appearance. And yes, she does voice the fictional version of herself in this episode. I looked it up. And she... not bad. And I like the ending to Lois and Peter's marriage counseling stories where they keep hitting every waiter that comes up to them. That is a little funny. And the stuff with Brian and Stewie literally stuck together and does get a few laughs. Again, it still raises the question, did Stewie ever get out of his clothes? I have questions. I know it's a cartoon, but I really want to know how that even possible and how they managed to stay like that for 3 weeks. So yeah, it's an okay episode. I just wish the whole jealous of their spouses thing could be a little less generic. Number 15, episode 4. 1 if by Clam, 2 if by C. And that's a hoot and a half. I thought the episode was not bad. Their depiction of British people is a little chuckle-worthy. And Nigel is a pretty creepy villain. And what he gets at the end is pretty damn satisfying. And yeah, the main plot with Peter, Cleveland, Joe, and Quagmire wanting to get revenge on the Brits for stealing that pub after a tornado is a little funny. It's something interesting. The subplot with Stewie is okay. And that's pretty much it. I mean, him trying to get this little girl to speak proper English is just, But the rest of it is okay. I mean, it's something different at least. Number 14, episode 13, Screwed the Pooch. Yeah. Brian's arc in this episode is just very interesting to me. So, he can't control himself in the you-know-what sense, and he finds out that the dog he did is pregnant, and to Brian's credit, he actually takes responsibility for what he did. I mean, no other man, or in his case, dog, is willing to do that, so points for that. And, well, Carter is freaking awful in this, and he bribes Peter to backstab Brian, because, their tiny little bondage moment. It's, I don't know. I mean, it's Carter being Carter, rich prick and all, but this is way below the line. I mean, I get him being infuriated at Brian for, in his words, violating Seabreeze. Oh, that poor dog. But destroying a friendship between his son-in-law and the dog is really pushing it too far. Even Lois is horrified by this. But yeah, I give Brian this. He does take full responsibility, so kudos to him. But it ends on a pretty dark note, and I'm very perturbed by this. So yeah, it's an okay episode. The Brian stuff is good, but that dark ending, man. Ugh. Number 13, episode 14, Peter Griffin. Husband, father, brother? Yeah, I have to keep doing that bit. It's just, it's a question mark. What do you expect? So yeah, I immediately wanted to hate this episode for its depiction of race, but as I watched the episode, it's not bad. I mean, this is actually Carter at his best. I thought he would instantly berate Peter for his heritage, because, one of his ancestors, because of one of his ancestors, and of course Carter's ancestry. But Carter seems like a decent human being, so props to him for not taking advantage of this. And I'll give them this. Peter taking advantage of his recently discovered heritage is kind of nice. His friendship with Cleveland is pretty sweet, and even though he abuses the money that Carter gives him, although it is Peter, what do you expect? I do like he immediately fixes it. And Nate Griffin, while limited screen time, makes his appearance pretty well though. His little scene with his ancestor Peter is pretty damn good. Not bad, Nate. And I'll give the subplot this. Stewie's subplot fascination with the cheerleaders is pretty damn funny. Although it does have a very dark ending. That poor girl, well, a little mean, does not deserve what happened to her at the end. Really. So yeah, the episode I thought was not bad. I liked the Peter stuff. The Stewie stuff was pretty funny. And there's not much to say about that. Number 12, Episode 9, Mr. Saturday Night. This episode was really well done. I'll give them that. And yeah, this is the final episode with Mr. Weed as a character, as he unfortunately chokes to death and messes his company to the ground, leaving Peter jobless. And I'll give Peter this. It makes me 100% sympathize with him. He just lost his job. The idol he idolizes for outright bullies him into submission and pretty much humiliates him in front of his family. Wow. I know idols in real life aren't exactly all sunshine and rainbows, but that was really douchey, man. And kudos to Peter for standing up for himself. Well done, Peter. You winning that jazz competition, you earned it. So overall, I thought that was a not bad episode. Kudos to Peter for going through all of this. So, well done, buddy. Number 11, Episode 6, Death Lives. This is another good episode with the Grim Reaper. Yeah, he seems to be getting really good episodes so far. And this one's no exception here. So, Peter, being Peter, misses on his and Lois's wedding anniversary. So he sets Lois on a scavenger hunt while he plays golf with the boys. Husband of the year, you ain't. So, after a near-death experience, he meets up with the Grim Reaper, and yeah, I'll give the episode some credit. I definitely buy Peter and Lois falling in love. Again, if you want more details on the review, the scene where Peter and Lois make out in the middle of the road is so damn funny. And that ending where Peter stands up to Carter and pretty much turns down the money for Lois is freaking sweet. That is love right there. And I like Peter's little redemption arc at the end. So yeah, I think it was a pretty good episode. Although the plot hole, again, if you want more details on that review, go watch that, still irks me, and hence why it stops from being in the top 10. That part makes no sense to me. But apart from that, Peter is great throughout this whole episode. Eventually gives his marriage a second chance, and he helps Death get a girl. So, well done. So here we are, folks. The top 10. Here we go from great episodes to perfect episodes. So what starts off the top 10? Well, if you watch my Season 2 ranking video, I put Road to Rhode Island as my number 1 favorite episode of not just of Season 2. But honestly, if I ever didn't make that video, my top 10 favorite Family Guy episodes of all time. And number 10, episode 20, Road to Europe, is another good one. It's another great one. Not as good as Road to Rhode Island, but still a pretty decent episode. I mean, for one, it has a pretty funny payoff. So, look, Stewie wants to join his idol at Jolly Farm. And Brian, once again, give him credit for this, he actually goes out of his way to make sure Stewie's okay. Hell, he even supports him in his dream. That's genuinely sweet. And honestly, you feel nothing but sympathy for Stewie as the life he sees pretty much crumbles his idol pretty much isn't all it's cracked up to be. And yeah, Brian supports him throughout the whole thing, and it's nothing but sweet. But what makes this rank in this high on the list is the subplot with Peter and Lois. Them being Kiss fans, well, Peter mostly being a Kiss fan, is pretty sweet. But Lois, her supporting Peter, even though she hardly doesn't even know what Kiss is a loyal wife to me. And the funny twist at the end with her knowing one of the members is damn hilarious. She doesn't know the band, but she knows one of the guys. That is pretty damn funny. So yeah. What a great start to the top 10, and a great Row 2 episode. And hopefully we get more better episodes after that. Number 9, Episode 1, The Thin White Line. So yeah, I'll have to say, it's a pretty great first episode to start the season with. So, Brian's whole trip, wanting to find a purpose in life, is a pretty good start. So he starts out as a police dog for Joe, but of course, the drugs kick in and he's kicked out of the force. So, he wants to go to Hollywood. And honestly, Brian's whole arc there is nothing short of perfection. I mean, absolute perfection. And as much as I hate this trope, I do like the cliffhanger ending here. It makes me wonder what's gonna happen later. Oh yeah, and it has probably one of my favorite jokes in the season. Peter Griffin. Oh, that's right, Peter Griffin. Oh, crap. So yeah, I think it's a good first episode to start the season with. It's a solid start. I'll give him that. Number 8, Episode 18, From Method to Madness. Well, given this, I do like the realism of what they do here. I like the chemistry between Stewie and Olivia. And while they hate each other at the start, they eventually work together when they realize if they can't work together, they're booted out of the performing arts. And yeah, about as typical as it is, they start fighting, they break up, but it does end on a nice note with Stewie and Olivia parting on good terms. It's kind of sad, really, but what do you expect? And I do like Meg's crush on Jeff, the son of the guy Peter saved while he's out on the job. And yeah, well, their life choices aren't exactly how do I put this up? Getting demonetized. Simple. Lois and Peter eventually realize their daughter's happiness is with that boy, so they decide to change too, for the better. And yeah, Meg's crush on Jeff is so damn adorable. Jeff seems like a nice kid. I wish he stuck around. He would have been a great boyfriend for Meg. He treats her well, doesn't see her as anything else, and Meg seems pretty nice in return. I wish he stuck around. He was a good kid. So yeah, I think it was a good episode. Enough said. Number 7, Episode 21, Family Guy Viewer Mail Number 1. Yeah, I thought this was a good anthology episode. And again, if you watched my Avatar Season 2 episode ranking, I put Tales of Ba Sing Se as my number 1 favorite episode of that season. And it was an anthology episode, so yeah. Small world, eh? But this one is also pretty good anthology episode too. It packs into 3 separate stories. One, Peter with the genie. The second one where the Griffins get superpowers, which, come on, get me a goddamn spin-off series. And the third one is where the adult Family Guy characters are teeny tiny. So, I would put Super Griffins, the Peter with the genie, and the little Griffins at the bottom. So yeah, I thought it was a good few anthology ones. The first one I wish could have given a little more interesting or be funny. The Supergirls was just damn perfect with a pretty sweet ending. And the third one I wish could have made it more interesting. But the rest of it was top notch. A pretty good episode. Enough said. Number 6, episode 7, Lethal Weapons. I can honestly say it's a pretty entertaining episode. So Lois wants to take Jujutsu classes. That's good. But then she starts going nuts when Peter starts acting like a moron. Yeah. Although the Superman reference with General Zod and his Kryptons were pretty funny. But what ranks it this high is the entertaining fight at the end with the Griffins. Brian versus Stewie, Meg versus Chris, and of course Lois versus Peter. It's pretty much wanting to get the anger out of this system, and it's pretty damn entertaining stuff. So yeah, pretty entertaining stuff, kick-assery, and I like how it continues after they take a breather. It shows that it's not gonna change, and I freaking love it for that. Number 5, episode 12, To Love and Die in Dixie. Honestly, this Chris episode is freaking great. I mean, you feel bad for Chris throughout this whole episode. He just wants to talk to a nice girl he likes. And while that doesn't pan well, he unfortunately gets caught on the side of the law when he becomes a witness to a robbery. And yeah, when that robber gets out, he plans to physically hurt Chris. So the Griffins move to the south side. And yeah, hijinks ensue and all that. But what really ranks it this high is Chris's chemistry with one of the Southerners. And in a rather surprising twist, there's more to this person than Chris realized. And it was a pretty damn shock when I saw this. I mean, Sam can be a boy or a girl's name, honestly so. And yeah, like I said with Meg and Jeff should have been stuck around longer. Sam and Chris are the same. I wish Sam could have stuck around. She seems like a nice girl. She treats Chris well. Chris seems to talk to her on his level, and I generally found that romance pretty damn sweet. So overall, I like this episode. It's pretty good. Not good, it's great. Honestly, Chris, you deserve so much happiness. Number 4, episode 10, A Fish Out of Water. So yeah, I generally love the fun of adventure, and this one is no exception. So, Peter gets a job as a fisherman, and he's dared, stupidly, to find a fish that is worth a lot of money. Why? Because he made a deal with a scam artist into buying a boat, but it costs him the house. And if he doesn't pay within 48 hours, they're kicked out on the street. But I'll give Peter this, he instantly acts, and of course, taking the stupid dare. And yeah, Seamus makes a good impression on his very first episode of the series. And I'll give Cleveland, Joe, and Quagmire this. Their support to Peter is the reason why I see them as they're all good friends. And I generally like the twist at the end. So yeah, this is a great episode. But unfortunately, it's not enough to make the top 3. Good episode. It's not good episode, great episode. Oh, and the Jackal joke with Stewie is so damn funny. So here we are, folks, the top 3. These are not just great episodes, but flawless episodes. So let's continue with number 3, episode 16, A Very Special Family Guy Freaking Christmas. Probably the longest title in an episode that I've said for the majority of the channel so far. And yeah, it's a pretty entertaining Christmas episode. So, the usual Christmas hijinks. But Lois throughout the whole of this has been nothing but great. She at first is annoyed at Peter for giving away not their Christmas presents, but commemorates him because not all children deserve a little something on Christmas. And while everything goes to crap, Lois is there is nothing short of a miracle. But her rampage during the final moments is nothing of entertaining. No paper towels! Ah! And she just goes on a freaking rampage, and it's just a ton of fun to watch. I mean, can you really blame her? She pretty much just cracked at this point. And honestly, you can't blame her for this. And I do like the Christmas, the Fourth Wall Break Christmas bit at the end. And it's just Lois just high on the tranquilizer juice and not able to say a word. So yeah, I think it's a pretty entertaining episode. And Stewie looks adorable as baby Jesus. Number 2, episode 11, in Mission Impossible. Yes, most people would put this at number 1. But the number 2 spot is nothing to be ashamed of. But this episode's iconic for a reason, and it's not hard to see why. And yes, this is the first official appearance of Carol Peterschmidt into the series, and she makes a good impression. And yeah, Peter and Lois' sweet romance, it's just beautiful. And them wanting another child after helping Carol deliver hers is nothing short of sweet. But what makes it rank high, of course, is Stewie himself. He wants to do everything he can and to make sure that Peter and Lois don't, have another child. And yeah, this is the first appearance of Bertram, and Wallace Shawn does an excellent job in the role. Honestly, I can buy these two as as brothers. It's pretty entertaining stuff. And I love the POV shot of Stewie in the miniaturized ship going through Peter's body to destroy everything in there to make sure that he doesn't. So make sure that Stewie wins. And I like the way that it ends too, as Stewie wonders if should Bertram ever be born. Interesting. Oh yeah, and the scene where Stewie puts on lipstick is so delightfully entertaining. Make any joke you want, you know I look good. So yeah, I think this is a fantastic episode. But there's one episode that I consider the best and pretty much flawless. Have you figured it out? Do you know what it is? Let's take a look. And what I consider my number 1 favorite episode of season 3. Number 1, episode 17, Brian Wallows and Peter's Swallows. I never knew how fantastic this episode was. This was nominated for Emmy for a reason. And it's not hard to see why. We'll start off with the subplot. Peter. He wants to grow a beard. Thinks that it's manly. But an endangered bird gets into it and he can't get it out because he'd be arrested for killing an endangered bird. But I'll give Peter this. Him wanting to look after the bird's babies is so damn freaking sweet. And honestly, him wanting to cling on to the babies is so fatherly. And the scene where he has to let him go is just an absolute tearjerker. And speaking of tearjerkers, this has to have one of Brian's best moments. His beautiful romance with Pearl, or what could have been a beautiful romance with Pearl. Now, Pearl is actually a pretty decent one-off character. Her being an opera singer but shunned out due to, well, her range and her age, made her pretty much a shut-in for 3 decades. But Brian's little song. I mean, You've Got a Lot to See. It's a beautifully well done song, but the scene that made me heartbreak the most, and don't worry, I'll try not to cry here, is when Pearl is fatally hit by a truck, and her last moment with Brian, her imagining the life she could have had with him, is beautifully, beautifully done, with no dialogue, shown visually with amazing music. I mean, Pearl is pretty much the closest to Brian could have had to a beautiful life with her. They could have been so good. They could have been perfect together. Honestly, that scene makes me cry every single time. So yeah, Brian Wallows and Peter Swallows is just 100% perfect episode. Good writing, great song sequence, two good stories matched together, and just Peter and Brian at their best. So yeah, I consider this my number 1 favorite episode of season 3. And I think it should be in my top 10 favorite episodes of all time. So yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's a perfect episode. And I hope season 4 gets better with this. And that's the end of the video, folks. I hope you liked this. Give me a thumbs up, like and comment and subscribe, and I hope to get more videos out like this. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to be reviewing the 3rd season of Family Guy as a whole. But before that, I've got a special video celebrating the 1 anniversary of the worst film of 2024, The Mousetrap. I've got a special video for that. So keep an eye out for that. Until then, I'm the Shadow Reviewer, signing off.